What's up, everyone? True Red Alpha Female here, alone and solo once again. Hopefully, as the weather improves and things open up, I can bring to you some of my well-spoken, outspoken, conscious, and intelligent guests to share with us their thoughts about what we're dealing with out here. Things are absolutely crazy. Can't make it up. So hopefully within the next couple weeks, I'll have those guests that we can speak with. I wanted to talk to you for a couple of minutes today about an experience that my family is going through. It was this time last year that my elderly 91-year-old father would be plucked from his home where he lived alone and taken in by two relatives, one not a relative, but two relatives, we'll say, who ended up abandoning him, completely wiping out his bank account. This would go on for several months. Eventually, he would die several months later. And I'm bringing this up because during the time that he was put in a rehabilitation center with nothing to rehab, that's where he was abandoned. Nothing was wrong with him. These relatives would wipe out his bank account, and the bank account was with Bank of America. My father contacted them. We would be on a three-way with Bank of America for hours because it was during COVID and he was not able to leave the the rehab, because of the shutdown. We'd be on the phone with the bank for hours. They would not speak with him in length about his own bank account. They would only give me so much detail because I was not power of attorney. We would send them documentation, police reports explaining what happened. Bank of America would then send us a form requesting that my father remove his name from his own account, even after we explained to them the situation. Eventually, I would gain power of attorney. I would go there with this legal document and they would deny me my right, a legal power of attorney document. Eventually, after going back 4 or 5 days later, speaking with their attorney, being loud, because that's what we have to be oftentimes. And I know as Black folks, particularly Black women, we don't want to be seen as angry and Black. Unfortunately, it is survival of the fittest out here. And I think that many of us have experienced so much discrimination, over the past many years, but I think we've been experiencing it because many people just walk away and we don't deal with things as they happen. And these establishments will handle you and treat you the way that you allow them to. And then they kind of just include everybody else they have an experience with. And so when they went low, I went low too. Because going high would have gotten me nowhere. Going low allowed me access to my father's checking account. And when I saw those bank statements, it was the most disturbing thing that I'd ever seen. And it was so disturbing that a bank would allow this to happen to an elderly man's bank account who literally would spend $11, $12 every couple of weeks buying pizza and a case of beer, to having thousands of dollars taken from his account and transferred and used on a debit card. But I'll leave that there because that's a legal matter. But I'm just telling what I experienced with them. The next bank that we've been dealing with is Capital One, What's in Your Wallet. For the last several months, we have been trying to get $4,500, $4,000 from Capital One. That's it, $4,000. I'm telling you all this because oftentimes our elderly parents, and those of you who are my age, mid-50, or even if you're 60 or even 40, may have grandparents who, prior to dying, will name certain people to be in charge of their estates. And sometimes they name their grandchildren, which was in my case. My father named my 24-year-old as head of his estate as executor. Went through the process, got the documents. with that executorship document, we've been trying to get $4,500 from Capital One. And every time I send all the documents overnight, there's a problem. So we call them, oh, we did receive it. Then we call them back, oh, no, we didn't receive it. Well, here's the tracking information, says you did. Oh, well, we didn't. And so I'm telling you this because sometimes our parents do things not really thinking that this is a real job handling this. And it's a lot for a 24-year-old. And even I know people have said to me, well, your son will learn how to, do the process. And that's fine if it's going to be fair and normal. But we know as Black folks, that's not the case. And when you have to deal with these financial institutions, you have to send them your picture ID. So they have a picture of my son's Black ID with his inner city address, and it shouldn't matter, but it does. And so I think they try to discourage them and think that they're going to walk away. Because really, what 24-year-old could handle this, handle the establishment that just, they just tell my son anything. So now I've had to get involved. $4,500 from Capital One. And so if you have elderly parents, please try to be involved with some of the decisions that they're making. Be involved with them now with what's going on in their accounts. And I'm only talking to you about Bank of America and Capital One because those are the two institutions that I've been dealing with. Make sure that your Black parents are being treated fairly. Be a part of their account. Go over their bank statements so you know what's going on. Know what their arrangements and their affairs are going to be afterwards. Because the money that was stolen from my father was then thrown into court. So we're fighting to get that out from Bank of America, who dismissed and ignored my legal power of attorney document. And so I'm sharing all this with you because, I like to be transparent because I don't want people to have to deal with the same thing that we've had to deal with. So not only are we dealing with the untimely death of my 91-year-old father, and it was untimely because he had left the hospital clear, completely clear, healthy, put in an assisted living because where he was the first time, where he shouldn't have been, in a rehab with nothing to rehabilitate. He broke his hip, completely recovered. Can you imagine a 90-year-old who had then turned 91, recovered from a hip fall, started walking, ended up in the hospital, completely cleared, sent to an assisted living where he was supposed to then be helped to learn to walk again. 6 weeks later died because they allowed him to rot to death. So I'm going to say they murdered him. And that's a legal matter. So I'll just say that. And so not only dealing with that, now we have to deal with, dealing with Capital One. I'm telling you, $4,000 they don't want to hand over. So please get involved with your elderly parents. Talk to them. Go over their banking information with them. Make sure they understand what's happening with them. Make sure they understand they have a legal right if somebody's stealing from them to have it dealt with. And just so this doesn't happen, to your elderly families. So you all be safe out there. Take your vitamin D. Go out in the sun. It's beautiful. Get your vitamin D, and I'll say that again, and you can do your research to see how important vitamin D is during this time, during this pandemic. Take your vitamin C. Be healthy, connect with something to help you emotionally because we all need some emotional help and strength right now during all this. And we'll talk soon. Thank you guys so much for listening. Bye.